When a month or two ago,
Okay.
it was a roll call vote and my name was down there as abstaining or saying no, to now, it's just a voice vote.
Point of
Yep.
order. The discussion on the floor is whether we approve these minutes. or
And I'm
not.
saying I do not approve of them.
Okay,
You have to
Any
make a
other-
motion to
Yep.
correct. them.
Then I make a motion to correct them the way I've outlined.
excuse me, the
There has to
motion
be
is what?
specific language.
What is your motion?
That the annual report and the funds transfer on the February 19 minutes be changed to show that I voted no on those issues.
Okay, do we have a second?
How come I'm not surprised?
Do we have a second?
I'll make a second on that.
We've got a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion to change it?
Again, going back to Robert's rules that records voice votes by passing or not passing. Specific language has to be indicated so the secretary can get them down correctly.
So what you're telling me is I am in error in saying that in the past, it's been recorded in the minutes. 3 people, 4 people voted yes and 1 no.
Other secretaries may have done things differently.
You.
No.
Okay, is there any further?
I think
Yep.
that
Any further
it's an
discussion?
education issue.
Yep.
There's 2 types of votes.
Yeah.
There's a voice vote and there's roll call vote.
Then I
And
make
if
a
you
motion.
want your vote to be registered in the minutes going forward, John, the way to do that would be to say, I would like to have my vote, I'd like a roll call vote. It's incumbent on you to ask for it. Otherwise, it's just considered voice vote, all in favor. Aye, all, I'm not in favor, nay. That's just a vote, that's called a voice vote. So those are
And
the 2
because
ways
I'm
it
an old
works.
man and I easily forget things, why don't we just say from now on, we will have a roll call vote?
Because
Nope,
it's,
we're not going to do that. You've had comments. You have a second comment that you would like to make? Because we have two chances to have comments during discussion. Any other comments you'd like to make?
Only that the minutes are in error the way they are.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
But he didn't record that.
All those in favor of,
Can we have a roll call vote?
yes, we can have a roll call vote. All those in favor of the changing the annual report to reflect that John voted no.
He just said we couldn't do that.
We're voting on your motion is that you wanted to change it, that you voted no, correct? You want to change the minutes?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like it.
We've had the discussions. We're now going to vote. John?
I vote that whatever way, yes or no, it comes out that it gets changed to show that I voted no or abstained on both those issues.
so I'm sorry, point of order,
Yep,
sorry,
yep.
hate to get bogged down in this, but in order to do the roll call vote, the roll call vote is simply a yes or a no.
Yes.
It's based on the specific language of your motion, John. So can you please repeat
Yeah.
your motion? So that I know what the yes or no means in relation to your motion.
I move that the minutes be changed regarding the annual report and the funds transfer, that I voted no or abstained on each of those votes.
And your vote is what?
That the minutes be changed.
That the
Yeah,
minutes be
yeah.
changed. Well,
So
yes,
Yes,
so
is it yes or no?
yes.
There you go.
Wendy?
I hate to do this, but I don't know that I'm understanding it correctly.
But we've had the discussion.
I know, I
We've
feel
had the
kind of
discussion.
stupid.
Well, that's okay.
I-
So,
I don't believe, I'm gonna say no.
no,
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 okay, motion does not pass.
So in other words, it's going to stay as a lie in the minutes.
no.
Point of
Yeah,
order,
point of order, and I'm not, we're not gonna do this. We are not going to have people interrupt this board meeting. We're going to
Then-
stay with the agenda items, and that's it. We're not going to have random comments. That's not going to happen.
Then I would like it very, very much if that's the case from all of you four towards me. especially you.
Any other comments about the minutes, approval of the minutes? So they're, yes,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as distributed.
sir, second.
Yes, I'll second it.
Any discussion about approval of the minutes?
It doesn't require a
Yeah,
motion.
it doesn't, it's so approved. They're good. President's report. I do not have a president's report today. As I would like to make some of my comments in the other agenda items we have later in the evening. Friends of the library,
Nothing to report.
thank you. Secretary's report,
Nothing to report.
nothing to report. Treasurer's report,
I think Jackie just handed out the treasurer's report because I got it to her late, so before the meeting, but just before the meeting probably. I think the numbers reflect what has been transpiring. Not really a whole lot of activity this month. Some magazine subscriptions, some book replacements. I guess snow shoveling was a biggie.
That was a large one, yeah.
Yep. And then you will note that there's that large check that went to the town, which was the transfer went to the town to pay the library's bills out of that, out of Douglas County and,
Funded from the.
yep. So, and that was $40,755.77.
May I ask which books were replaced? It just said-
I don't know all of the books that have been replaced, but I found it interesting that I was on the library's website and actually it shows you all of the books that are there, the genres.
Yeah,
It's a public
Yeah.
service, and I thought it was really kind of interesting.
Mhm. Yes, yeah, every time we get a new book in, we always put it on our website, so
Mhm.
all the new materials are always listed there, giving a description as well as a link to the the catalogs, people can add their reserve now, or if they really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice.
So someone who has religious differences regarding going online is at a disadvantage at this library.
they could come in and look it up and ask about it. Any other questions for that? And going back to John, what you said, were you done?
Yes.
Oh, going back to what you were saying before, if you have something that's directly related to this topic of the bills to the board or our financial report, that would be then appropriate to have your question or something about that. If it's not, I would appreciate you have an agenda item for the next meeting if it's not something related to specifically what we're talking about in the report.
Well, we're talking dollars and cents. Yes, I do have something, but first off, on the profit and loss statement under library technology, it looks like something's crossed off. Is that supposed to be crossed off?
Oh, yeah, I see
The
the,
$4,900.
$25.40?
I received that today from Helen. So any changes, oh, that's highlighted.
Yep,
sorry.
that's
Okay.
highlighted.
Yeah, that's
yep,
highlighted.
and you can see that if you look at the next page. Highlighters do
Yeah, they darken it.
yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
that's highlighted because that's pertaining to the computers that we're gonna be discussing here later on in the agenda.
Okay, the second thing, I have a recollection of the board okaying the reshingling of the carriage house. That's all I recall is that we okayed that. I have heard from people that I represent that illegal aliens did the job in the middle of a snowstorm. And that causes me, that bothers me. Number one, how good can the replacement of the shingles be if it was done in a snowstorm? And when there are qualified local contractors out there, is it true that somebody named Marco ended up getting the job to reshingle the roof?
Richard, he's from the town board, Rich.
No,
Nimitz.
Thank you. Rich Nimitz was the one that brought the contractor here, and we used him because Rich had them do his house, and he said they did a very good job. So he was the president at the time, so he was the one that lined that up.
So, and you don't, that's not your business to know who it exactly
No,
was.
I have no.
I was
idea if
actually
they
here
were
that day.
illegally aliens or not.
As
All I
well,
know
that's
is-
not, okay,
So then we just went along with what the town board wanted in terms of hiring people who shouldn't even been here to do the job?
wait, stop. I'm gonna stop this discussion. You've had your say. We're talking about illegal aliens. This is a financial discussion.
Yes,
The finances, the project was done. The project was done properly. The board passed it. The town gave suggestions. End of discussion.
Well, what
We
kind
are
of-
not going to talk about
what kind of
illegal
a
aliens
warranty
in a
did we get?
financial
What
discussion.
kind of a warranty?
Stop.
Why? You're not a dictator. I have serious questions about our fiduciary responsibility as board members.
I'm going to call for a 10-minute recess in this board meeting. We're going to stop for a moment.
Rich minutes told us.
About the clarification. And how members. What are the aspects of Robert's rules that might be significant in taking action on particular board members? So
And yourself
Oh, I didn't-
included?
absolutely myself, I'm a board member. Yep. If everybody's okay, I'd like to continue and reconvene. We're a couple of minutes early, if that's all right. Anybody object to that? Okay, we're going to move on from the treasurer's report. And move on.
I think it needs to be approved.
Oh, we didn't approve the budget and everything else. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report for February.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second for that. Any further discussion on the treasurer's report?
Only that we have a roll call vote. I mean, yes, roll call vote.
Okay, let's start with the roll call vote. We'll start over with Jan.
Oh,
Sorry. Yep.
there was a motion, second, that's okay.
Any other discussion on it? Roll call vote. Jan,
Yes,
David?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
No,
and a no. Okay, library director's report.
Okay, should I give you the bills ahead of time, or should I do my report?
Yeah, go ahead and do the bills.
Okay, for books this month, we have $371.83. Atomic Cleaning, who is doing the snow shoveling, we have a bill for $350. Northland Fire and Safety, they come in twice a year and check our fire extinguishers, and that bill is for $221.80. Gartner is our 1 year annual service of our heaters in the basement, and that's $390. We got 4 large print books from Cengage for $78, and Midwest Tape is $230.75 for movies. And then we have the bill for the roof across the street. And that invoice is for $14,500. And if that is approved, that one we will pay out of the library's account, because then we are reimbursed from the county through for the grant.
Oh, okay.
That's all for the bills.
Great.
All right, for things that going on at the library, for the first 2 weeks of March, we had celebrated Read Across America. We had a scavenger hunt. Anyone who wanted to went around, found, you can see an example of it right up there on the wall, that we had characters of it's Peter Rabbit.
Mhm.
And they had to figure out from the code what the title of the book was, and it was Green Eggs and Ham. So, but they, some of them were very well hidden, and they had a good time with that. We had about, I think, 54 kids. I shouldn't say that, 54 people, because there might have been a few older individuals participating too.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We had our first drum circle on March. Was it the 5th and the 8th? The 5th was, or excuse me, the 6th, that was a Thursday. That was for the 9-year-olds on up. And we had that in this area on Thursday night. And then Saturday morning, we had it in this area also, but it was for 5 through 8-year-olds. We did not have any takers on the 5 through 8-year-olds. And we had a small group for the adults. However, what I'm going to try to do is connect with Trisha at the daycare with the little people and videotape what a drum circle is all about and post it so people have an idea of what it is all about, because I think it's a new concept in this community, and because they don't know what it's about, they are not real hip on finding out. So we're gonna post that and get that around too. And I'm also thinking of taking it down to on Mondays when they had the group meeting at the corner for adults, taking it down there and doing an adult drum circle as well, so that people can get used to what it's about and really find out how enjoyable it is and how beneficial it is. Yes.
That was the first one?
Yeah, we had the first one in March, but it's going to be ongoing. We're going to be doing it the first Thursday night and the first Saturday morning of each month from here on in.
Sorry, when are they gonna be, Jackie?
Pardon me?
When will they be?
They're going to be the first Thursday night and the first Saturday morning for the respective age groups. And until Patty Lehman, who's the leader, decides that she's done. So it might be a while, or hopefully it'll be a long while. So she's gonna be doing that, so. I have been working on some grants for some spring projects for across the way. One of them is through T-Mobile, and if we receive it, it would benefit us in that we would be able to put in all the gardens on the green space. We would get the electricity in, and we would replace the foundation in the carriage house and lift up the building, because it's in a low spot. And so the drainage is not great underneath the building, and it will lead to the building's shorter lifespan. So the hope is for $50,000, all 3 of those things will be done, and it will increase the longevity of the carriage house building. So working on that, yes.
And what is T-Mobile's, what do they get out of it?
Well, that's what they have, like 8 or 10 questions. We have to explain how this is going to be a benefit to the community, how it's going to have a ripple effect and expanding on things. So I've been working with several people, Ellie Holte, one of them, getting the message across for answering their questions. So, and it's due on the 31st. So we're hoping to.
So it's part of their philanthropic.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a phone thing, or we don't
Yes.
have to have T-Mobile.
So you said plantings, foundation, and
Electricity.
electricity.
And then, of course, we have our two monthly book clubs on actually tomorrow night, the third Thursday at 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. We are meeting here at the library. We're going to be discussing Queen of the Ring, Sex, Muscles, Diamonds, and the Making of an American Legend by Jeff Len. That will be here, and anybody who is interested, we still, I think, have a couple copies at the library that people can pick it up if they want to find out more about Mildred and her abilities as a female wrestler. And then on the third Tuesday of the month at 1 p.m. here at the library, we will be discussing The Body, a Guide for Occupancy by Bill Bryson. And that's at 1 o'clock here. And again, new members are always welcome. And we still have a couple copies here at the library if anybody wants to delve into it. I will say I'm learning a lot about the body, but he also adds some humor. So it's been going down pretty easily. So. And then the final one, the book discussion at the middle school, we haven't yet set a date, but they just received their books this week because last week was spring break. So I'm thinking it'll probably be the first part of April when we connect with the middle school kids. In regards to the digital navigation, Eric has been coming on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. Mondays of the month. He's here from 10 to 3. And the first day or so, he was pretty quiet, but I think people have found out about him and he has been busy. So that's good. I have seen him throughout the day sitting back there and then coming over here and then going back there and coming back out here. So he's busy. And I'm going to be doing a chamber chat the first part of April. I was supposed to be doing it the month of March. However, there were some issues with the cue ball on the radio. And so we're just waiting till April. So we'll have a chamber chat on him as well. And then finally on April 2nd, the funds that we have received in the past for the shingles and the fence, they're now expanding that grant to take in AI possibilities. And so they're having an AI training for library staff on April 2nd, starting at 9 a.m. So myself and I believe Candace are planning to go over to Washburn that morning to have the AI training. So that's what we're working on there. We're moving ahead with the marathon. We're doing it again in conjunction with the Spider Lake run in September with the chamber. And we are getting our ducks in a row and getting everything planned out, and hopefully it'll go off very well. So more on that as we go along. So that is all I've got.
That's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. What's the purpose of the marathon?
It is hopefully a fundraiser for the library.
For a particular goal?
No, not for a particular goal, just a fundraiser for the library and bringing people to the community.
I'm sorry, Jackie, bringing what?
And bringing people to the community.
So we're gonna raise money with no plans for how we're gonna spend it.
Well, once we start earning money, that will be a decision that the library board can then go forward on. I don't know how much we're going to raise this first year because everything is up in the air in regards to funding, where we're getting the money from, how we're gonna, how many people we're gonna get, but we're hoping to have all our expenses covered and hopefully earn a little bit of money for this first year.
Final question. You mentioned the drum circle had benefits. I have no clue what those would be.
The benefits are for socialization, avoiding isolation, and the benefits of music as a whole. People that they have done studies, especially with drums, the drumming helps a lot of people de-stress. And with a lot of people involved and with a lot of stress of late, people feel that it releases some of their pent-up frustrations by pounding on a drum, and that is a benefit for many people.
I have a question. We have this as an item for the digital navigator. Do you have some ideas about what people were interested in or, and then we don't maybe have to talk about. it a
Oh,
little
sorry
later.
about that.
Like
Um,
on the digital, so what, can you just tell us a little more about that? Maybe?
Oh,
If you know what he was working
a
on.
lot of, right now, what he's doing a lot of help with is how to function with their person's phone, with a laptop, learning something new. He also has laptops that he will be able to be checked out
Yeah.
for those that I think they have to fit a certain criteria. And as of right now, he's the only one that can check those out. But as the time progresses, that will be a task that will be turned over to the library eventually, also and the library staff. But as of right now, Eric is available on those 2 days for assistance with legal, or excuse me, technical help, but also to check out laptops for those that meet a criteria and would like to learn how to use them.
And just a review of how people know about it. I'll give one example. I mean, I was just at the grocery store today and there's like a flyer about it and so on. Because obviously people that want to know more about the technology might not have the technology to
Right.
like see it on the Facebook, but it is on the Facebook and so on. And any other thoughts about how people are hearing about it?
Okay, we have it on our sidewalk sign outside, and then when people come in and ask us about it, we have his schedule. So if they can't make it on those Mondays here, we let them know where he's going to be on other days in the county, because he's also going
At
to
other
Washburn and
places, yep.
Cable and Drummond.
Does it cost anything? It's sort of that, like, the thing of like, people who are needing to learn about computers don't know how to get on a computer to find out about the class about computers. So if there's a way, I don't know if the library gets any free advertise or free notices in like the bottom line or the connection or something to put something in the paper to say, hey, this is what's happening.
Yes,
And then, people might be able to find out about it that way through
Okay.
something outside of actually having to come here
right.
physically, or having to go online if they don't have the skill to go
Right.
online to do it.
Yes, like I said, I'm gonna do a chamber chat on it, but yes, I think I had mentioned in the past that I was gonna try to do something in the connection. And it just got sidelined because this grant is taking place right now, and it's due on March. But I will definitely get it into the paper so that we have that information up to the connection as well. And maybe I can see if we can get it into the Ashland paper too, if they are willing to do it as a free service.
I just have a question, because I know WNXR, Q Ball, for like nonprofits will make announcements. That might be something that for free,
Right.
that he maybe would mention, and
Right.
that's another way for people to hear about it.
Yes, and that's, well, the chamber chat that I'm going to do is with Q Ball, so.
Oh, okay.
But there was a mix up in communication, so we didn't get it done. But yeah, I'm thinking once he knows about it, we will ask him, if he can.
'Cause he'll
plug us
repeat
somewhere.
it, yeah.
Yeah, plug it somewhere else is fine too, so that word gets out there, because yeah, this is a great service for those that want to be initiated, but are having a clue where to start, yes.
Yeah, that's great. And then it'll be good to find out when the checkout starts too,
Okay.
people getting access to the
Okay. I will
computers and
find
so
that out.
on. Anything else, Jackie?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Well, let's move on to the old business update on the long range plan. A couple of things that we've been talking about this for a few months and how we might go about doing the update plan. First of all, I gave everybody a copy of this. Here, Jackie, you can have this one too. Just so that you know, just a really, really quick review of the current this is the long range plan that we have in existence. This has come up before in the board, but I think it's good to just review that we are ending the current one and now starting to work on the next vision for what is it that everybody in the community and the library and and especially our board, what do we want to see? a part of our role as a board, library board, is to set that, is to help develop that vision and that mission of who we are as a library and so on. So just to say real quick that, as you can see, there are 3 goals that have been working on, and at some point, we might want to have just an update about how things are going, but just in my opinion, having read through this a number of times, I think a lot of these things are happening, that, for example, there are 3 goals. One is to do more adult, I'll summarize these and you correct me if you want to add to that, Jackie. It is to have more adult classes, art classes, genealogy, and different kinds of things related to that, as you can see. So that's, as you just heard from Jackie's report today, I think a lot of those things are happening. The second goal is the basically retaining highly qualified and experienced staff, and I think that Jackie can sometime talk about that. I think that's been achieved over the last couple of years. And you may want to expand on that at some point, or add it to the next, add something like that to the next strategic plan as well. And the third goal is to expand philanthropy, the fundraising, of which, for example, the thing you just talked about, the race and other people like our nice friends of the library and other people who have barely worked have been working on that. And that obviously is always a good thing to do, even if we don't have the specific need, but it's also nice to have a need for what we're going to fundraise for and so on, but it's also just really good to be able to add resources in my opinion. So, so this is what is right now, and we're working on kind of finishing up these statements. Going forward from here on is now what? Now what do we do? So a part of that we said at the last meeting is, for example, one step is to just start to gather some information from the community, just to get some thoughts from people around them. So that has begun, and that's why this screen is here. Several things, and I'll just be really quick about that. Jackie and the staff here have done, we have things on Facebook, so we have basically a little survey, which you can see here, that's on Facebook, it's on the website, and all of these things are here. I'll maybe just hold this up real quick. We don't have a screen here right now, but on our Facebook and on our website, we have posted a survey. So it's a link to it's really not a survey, it's more of a questionnaire. We're just gathering input ideas from the community. And this started yesterday, and right now you can see on there that we've already have 14 responses. Oh, and it was emailed, and it will be put up, and we have really nice posters here. So if anybody wants to put a poster around in Iron River or the nearby communities, that has a QR code on it, and that QR code works to be able to give your feedback and input from anybody. And we have a whole wide variety of things already. So we've got responses, and just to say there are 4 questions, I think. What new features or services would you like to see in our library? And we've got a question about what else have you seen in other libraries, in other places? Put a link in, or put your ideas from other places that you've seen. And then just what is your favorite part of the library that you have? And there's some really nice things that people have written, all kinds of people with all kinds of viewpoints too. And then, just other comments. So that's one step of just gathering what do people want. So the more we can get the word out in the next month or so to say, what are people thinking? What would they like to see? What have they seen when they've been traveling around in other libraries, especially smaller town libraries, not major cities or something, because the facilities and things are very different. So that's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting one day to have a whole bunch of feedback from the community. So I think that's good. Any thoughts just about that, or
When did it first get put out there, the survey? How long-
yesterday?
Yesterday.
And there are this many responses
Yep.
already?
We did a mass mailing to all our patrons with, that have a library card, the ones that said we can send them a newsletter, we sent it out to them, so they're all been made aware of it.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is very impressive.
And again, the QR code, I mean, not everybody, by the way, QR codes, as you know now, are, it used to be a few years ago, people would say, well, that's just stupid or something, you know, and including my wife, she said they were really stupid. Now everybody uses them, and because of your phone, anybody's phone, you just go up to it, and the phones really work, as you probably already all know, and you can go right directly to this little questionnaire and fill it out in a few seconds.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, if you don't have a phone or want to do that, you can always come in, and there's a box.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
our
have,
box is
if they haven't got it up yet, it's gonna be on the counter. so
on the
people can
counter, there's a box you can come
add
here, fill
things
out.
to it too, as they feel the need to.
Yep, fill out the little form and put in, throw your ideas in that way, manually or technically. So that's kind of nice. The next step is, well, how do we do this? So, Jackie and I, we said that before that we would be, as we mentioned in the last meeting, we've gone to a really great workshop on strategic planning and so on, done by Kelly Peterson, who works for the University Extension office for the county, who, in my opinion, did a really great job with a lot of people from all over the area about their planning of their organizations or whatever. So we have had a conversation with Kelly, and she has agreed personally to do our library strategic planning. And I don't know if, if you don't know her, she's, I think, really good and really talented, and also doesn't know any of us. And I don't think it's really worked for strategic planning on the library, but that's kind of a good thing in a way, because I think, so she has agreed to work with us as a community, probably during the summer sometime, and for the board in particular, and the board and other people that we invite to be part of this planning process. But I think it's really important, especially with our discussions with her. It's like the board really needs to agree and to really help vision where we're going. So we're talking about a potential weekend workshop, and I'd like to hear your feedback or thoughts about that. We can also do some meetings spread out over time. But one thought that she had for us is, and had a lot of success with groups, is to do it in like a couple of days, is to bring the board and other people that are going to be part of the planning and get together to do some planning about where we go. And there's a sort of a very set process that is used for that, and how do we get to where we want to be, which is an action plan at the end of this weekend, that we would have action to go over the next 3 or 4 years at this for the library, and what kinds of things we want to work on. In the meantime, between now and then, there's also some things that maybe we will be doing at our board meeting for 10 or 15 minutes or something, about sort of getting ready for that, like looking at trends of libraries and some other things that she'll work with us all on helping us to kind of get ready. So when we have that strategic planning session, that we can agree on a time and a place, then we'll be better, even more prepared. So instead of, it would just be a different agenda item. Instead of just talking about our budgets and so on, we're going to talk a little bit about the future and about what's going on around the world and so on. So we don't have to do all that at the strategic planning. So thoughts?
What was her name again, Jeff?
Kelly Peterson.
I love those ideas.
And she's doing it for free too. So that's a good thing. I mean, she works for the UW system in community development. And so it's I think we're really lucky. And by the way, so she's been working with a lot of these groups, especially since this last thing, that probably 40 people representing maybe 25 different organizations, so on, but all of them want her time and help. And she's not doing, that's what all of those groups to actually do the strategic planning with everyone, so I feel that's really good.
So we do really want to be prepared so that we can get it done and, if we're prepared, she can help us better.
Well, and I think the feedback from the survey will help
Yeah,
go a long way.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know, looking at what we have had, what we want to keep, what we want to keep growing, what's been accomplished.
Just for clarification,
mhm.
there are people willing to pay her to do this, but she's going to do it for us for free?
I have absolutely no clue if people are paying her or not paying her. I don't know anything about her job. I'm just saying that
Then
there
I
are people,
misunderstood what
what
you
I'm
said.
saying is that there are people in just the one workshop. She does this for people in the whole county for helping planning and community development and so on. I'm just saying from the one thing that we went to, a lot of people want her help. Don't know anything about pay or anything. I'm just saying that this isn't a cost, this isn't a budget issue for us. This planning, other than maybe if we could have a weekend on it, then we'll have to figure out how to have snacks and things like that. So a weekend, does it make sense? The thoughts? If we can come up and maybe I can send something out about what weeks would look, what weekend or something would look good for us.
Then you're looking at summer. You're thinking-
Summer, probably not after May. So the next two meetings will have a couple of little sections on it. And that's April and May, and then June might be good. Her suggestion to us is that, and we kind of know this, is that July and August is not the best time for a lot of us with summer plans and so on. So we don't have to make that decision right now, but unless,
Because this is for 2027, right? This one is done in 2026? At the end of 2026? Or at the beginning of 2026?
I think it's supposed to go through 2026.
Right, so this is for 2027 to 2023.
unless we decide that we want it to go to the end of this year and we implement, we can decide that as a board when we want this new one to start.
Oh, okay.
You know, we could say this, we can make that decision about when it's good for. And when it would start.
Yeah, that's one thing she really made a point of at the workshop was that having a shorter strategic plan period, 5 years a lot can change in that time. So she had suggested having them like for maybe 2 or 3 years rather than the 5 years plan that we had originally.
So we can send out, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think we've covered it well.
We can send something out about what time is available for people, let's say in June for the weekend. And then we'll also work as a board to determine who else would be involved in the planning, but it's not a large group, it's a smaller group. Mostly focused on this board and the staff that you think are appropriate and some other people from the community or that we think would make sense for this planning. Okay. Any other comments about that? Great. Let's move on to the postings. That's just very short, is that we didn't post the last one. We said that we were going to post these things on YouTube and we didn't record the last one. Not on purpose or anything, but we're recording this one, right?
We're recording this,
Yeah.
I missed the first couple minutes, but yes, we are recording this one.
Okay,
Why
that
wasn't the
will get
last one
posted.
posted?
Well, the decision on whether to go forward with the recording hadn't yet been made.
that's right.
That's true.
Let's move on to the digital navigator project, which we really already talked about. So I don't think we need to do that unless as an item, anybody has anything else to say about that project of being able to provide technology resources for people who don't really, that people that want help.
It's just great that it's being that's, people are taking advantage of it, because it's really a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Great. New business. So do you want to just talk a little bit about the computer replacement for patrons' computers?
We currently have 6 patron computers that were installed in 2019 and 2020, 3 in 2019, 3 in 2020. And that's coming about to be 5 and 6 years old, and that's getting to the end of the life expectancy of the computer. We have about $4,000 left in our technology fund after paying for our dues to Northern Waters. And I wanted to see if the board would be okay for us to purchase 3 computers this year and 3 more in November, if there's funds left, or purchase 3 more in 2026, so that we can replace the public access computers, so that we stay current and they don't start breaking down on us. I included with your packet the profit and loss, and thanks for John for reminding me. I highlighted or darkened it, and it's supposed to be 49,25,40. That's how much is left in the technology fund that I wanted to use towards computers. I am looking at the 16 gigabyte model for $950 a piece, because it comes with 3 display ports. Our patrons really use those yet. And so I wanted to get 3 of those at $950 each. And if we decide that we want to get 3 monitors at the same time, these monitors were purchased at the same time as the computers, so they're about 5 or 6 years old. When I talked to the tech person up at Northern Waters, he said a monitor usually lasts between 7 and 10 years. So technically, we wouldn't need to get the monitors right now unless we wanted to. And we would just purchase the 3 towers for the computers. And they come with keyboards and mice, so those would be updated as well. If we buy 3 of them with the monitors, it comes to $3275.64. If we buy all 6 with the monitors, it's $65.51.28.
Jackie, can you go back? I missed the first part when you were talking about the money. You were saying that there's.
Oh, there was money left in the technology fund that we have through the library budget, through the town. And it was budgeted for 17,000. We've used 12,074 on our membership dues to Northern Waters. So that leaves a total of 49.25 left in that line item. And I would like to purchase 3 computers with that funding, if that would be according to what the library board wants to do.
And then the other 3 that you're saying would do later out of a different budget, or where does the 6 come in?
Well, my thought was, they do the purchasing of computers for better funding twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And come, October, November, we'll have a better idea of what's left in the budget. If there's funds left over in the budget, we could then decide to purchase the other 3. But if not, we can postpone that and purchase 3 more in 2026.
In the next.
Is the hope.
I have 2 other quick questions about this. Do you think that we need, is the number of patron computers right now, is it for this year, is it an appropriate number? Do we have too many?
Oh, in
Do
regards
we
to the number of
have
people using
too
them?
few? Do we have are we, in other words, are we replacing something that isn't really going to get used very much? Could we get by on 1 less or 2 less, or what do you think?
We have not had all 6 computers used at one time within probably the last 6 months to a year. We have at least 3 going at one time. We've had, 3 patrons on 3 different computers. So to replace all 6, probably not necessarily, but I'm thinking to replace 3 would be a viable option. And then if we want to sit and wait and see between, now and 2026, how the numbers go on the computers, we can keep a running tally of, how many were used throughout a day. If you'd
I
like.
think that data collection would be really,
Okay, we can do that.
interesting and really helpful. And my second part of that is that with the technology budget, so are there other technologies that this library this year could use the funds for? Like, is patron computers are just one aspect of the technology here. So is there anything that needs to be either replaced or something that would be great to do, but we can't do it because we don't have the technology? I don't know what that is, but
The only thing that comes to mind right off the top of my head would be a 3D printer, but I think that would be more of a want than a need. And right now, was there something you, okay. I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head. We have an old Kindle and an old reader from Barnes and Noble. Those do not get used really at all anymore. We do have the laptop that we use on a regular basis. But other than that, we haven't had a lot of requests. The one thing we were contemplating just the other day was a charging station.
for
We,
like phones or for.
well, yeah,
for what?
because we have people coming in and saying, do you have a cord? My phone's just about
Yeah.
dead. I've looked at them, they run about $500, depending if you wanted to be a self-standing one or just one that you can put on the counter, probably around 100. The only thing is, for the self-standing ones, we would have to have it by an outlet, which there is one available over by the I'm trying to think of my wording, sorry, by the audiobooks that would be self-standing. The only thing I'm concerned about it with the self-standing one is I don't want people coming in and plugging their phone in and then wanting the library to be responsible for their technology if they go off to do something and come back.
Yeah.
That's my concern with that. That's why I was thinking having one on the counter might be, or, at the circulation desk might be a better option, just because then it's behind the desk and, people can still use it, but they have to go through the staff in order to do that. So that was the other thing I was thinking about the other day with that.
This is the budget.
Here,
So these are all technology items that would be for patrons.
Mhm.
What about for staff? Are there any needs internal in the library that come out of this same budget?
The only thing we really could use is a second printer, because when sometimes I'm printing some documents that are bits sensitive, and I have to come out here to get them. Usually I do it before the library opens, or I press the button and I come out here and grab them real quick. But that would be another option, would be that. But then that also adds to having to buy more toner
cost.
and everything else like that. So
Just a question.
John?
This budget is for the year 2025, correct? So if you buy the three, that will leave your technology budget at $1,649.
Mhm.
You're not expecting anything else for the next 9 months, 8 months? Or is that money also, do you have an earmark for that?
Well, being the technology, in my mind at least, the technology line is designed for purchasing of computers. I mean, if the library board wants to wait until later in the year, that, like I said, there is a second group sale that they purchase computers again in October or November. That way we can keep that $4,900 right now as a contingency fund, and then closer to the end of the year, then we can use it for buying computers if the board would prefer to do that.
Well, then I guess I'm asking is if we buy some now, we'll only have $1,649 to buy more in the fall on this budget.
Correct, but if there's a line item that hasn't been used, or there's some carryover that's left that we want to use before the end of the year, we could then as a board, you could ask that to be moved to a different line item, and then those funds could be then put towards computers if the board so chooses.
You also mentioned that you could do it next, but part of the next year.
Yes, it could also be, like I said, they do the ordering of computers, bulk computers like this, twice a year for the libraries. And this is just the first one of the year, is this one coming out here.
But, thoughts about what you'd like to do?
I think, that we should consider getting the 3 computers, based on the, information that you've given us, that possibly all 6 computers aren't really being used that much. I think we should record the data, which is what was discussed before we even consider buying 3 more computers at, at any time, because we don't want them just sitting there.
Mhm,
Because even if they're just sitting there, they're aging out.
mhm.
That's true.
And they're not gonna get any cheaper as time goes forward.
Yeah,
And they've been in there since 2017, 2018,
2019.
19.
3 of them were 2019 and the
Yes,
other 3 were 2020.
6 years and 5 years.
6 years.
Mhm.
So I'm sort of, once we get the information, I'm leaning towards the fall. If we know that the computers aren't on their really last legs.
Mhm.
Would you
Still
say 3? Are you talking about getting 3 or just waiting for everything?
I'm thinking like waiting until the fall to use the funds to buy 3 computers.
Okay,
And then if there's more, if there's more money and we feel like we want to have 4 or 5 computers, or if you want to go with the 6,
So the reason for
something
bringing
to
it up.
discuss at that time.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, so the reason for bringing it up now is because there's this bulk purchase,
yeah,
option that saves money.
right.
Oh,
And
that
like,
happens-
but like I said, they
that-
do it twice a year,
That will
so.
happen again in the fall,
Mhm.
and you can guarantee the prices won't go up.
Mhm.
Yes, that'd be nice if she could do that. Okay, any other discussions, and let's just. Does that make sense? Do you?
Wait until November?
Yeah.
Sure, sure. I mean, we haven't had too many problems with computers we have now. They say that.
That's kind of my question. Is there anything that's come up that's like a real glitch, like people can't do something that would be really helpful to patrons that?
I mean, we've had a few glitches, but then we call Tony and Robert, and within a few hours, they have it squared away with whatever the problem is.
And it sounds like we have 6 stations and there are almost always some available, so even if a computer dies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was at least
something
usually 1 or
we
2
have-
available.
Yes,
Mhm.
but that would argue for waiting as well.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Thank you. Check to Douglas County. Do you want to just?
Oh, yes.
mention that?
I went and found out we received $23,000 and $46.82 from Douglas County this year. And so that one will need to write a check for that. It's been deposited. We'll just need to write a check for that to go to the town to put into the library budget that the town holds. I just wanted to have it run through the board with the figures so that everything is above board as to what the amount was and where it was placed.
So just a question about that, because we did give them a check for 40,755.77. That was different?
That was Bayfield County.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We only did half of it last time, part of it last time.
Right, yeah. Douglas County is always last year they were really late. We didn't get it until May. And they're supposed to get it to us by March 1st, and they did this year time around, but it was after we had the board meeting before we could have that
The
officially.
agenda says check to Douglas County. We didn't write a check to Douglas County.
Pardon me?
Check to Douglas County.
It says.
Oh, it says.
It's supposed to be to the
It's supposed-
town.
It's from Douglas County for providing services to their residents.
Thank you.
Sorry,
What was
No, I'm
decided
sorry,
on the
you're not.
computers?
I'm
To
sorry.
wait.
We're waiting.
Okay.
So that, the one from Douglas County has already been deposited.
It has been,
And
it
now we're
has
getting
come.
the one from Bayfield County.
No, we got the
Oh,
one
got
from
the Bayfield
Bayfield
one.
County
Yeah, the one from Bayfield County was the 40,000.
and
and
we
then the-
deposited
Okay, okay.
that and we gave that to the town.
Yep.
On 2/26, so
Okay.
now we'll do the Douglas County.
And we need to, we need to take action on that.
I would like it just so that it.
Yep.
Continuity and, keeping everything.
Do we have a motion to,
Make a motion to write a check to the town of Iron River for the amount of $23,042.86 received from Douglas County.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Wendy. Any discussion about that? All those in favor of accepting the Douglas
Can
County
we have a roll
check?
call vote?
Start with you, John.
No,
Wendy?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
yes, the motion passes. 1 no. The last item, is just a brief thing from, to just maybe get your, it's really just a discussion to let you know that, and get any ideas that you might have real quick about, the upcoming, one of the things that is happening is the county fair is coming up. And there is some ideas floating around, and Jackie's going to meet with the librarians in Bayfield County. I'll just admit that I'm on the tourism committee for the county, and part of that is the fair. So I'm very involved in the county fair. And one of the things that has been done in other counties around the state is the library's involvement in the county fair, of having some really creative ideas. And maybe possibly, do you want to just mention a couple of thoughts about what we, and you're all gonna talk about it and come up with ideas anyway.
Yes. Tomorrow, the directors are getting together for our, annual, our bi-monthly directors council, and during that time, we do a round robin, and I'm gonna bring it up at that time to give the other libraries in Bayfield County kind of an idea of putting it in their mind about what they could think of that we could do for August. One of the ideas that was suggested maybe is having some sort of a tying the reading program into it, where they would receive awards at the fair for, it could be for the most books read, most pages read. It could be, anything related to the library, making a drawing or, a poem about the library. Any type of thing like that we could, then have on display at the fair, and then have a small award ceremony at the fair itself to
So-
promote these young people.
So the fair people have agreed that they're very excited about the idea of having the libraries involved, and including the display space where all the displays at the fair, and having our own, the libraries having their own booth, an area where stories could be read, and whether people can come in and read stories to little kids and whatever. So they'll provide a big space, whatever space that you all come up with, can be built at the county fair to have people come and do some activities or readings and so on. So that'll be exciting.
I think so. I would be.
Any thoughts about that, or
They're talking.
Brainstorms for them?
About reading to children or
You-
just something like that, would you?
yes, it could be reading, it could be. Some counties have a place where smaller kids will come, and then maybe a librarian or board members or other people in the community can sign up, or even older kids can come and read. Maybe some counties have where they read books about about animals and about different things about the fair or whatever, just to get kids involved. And maybe there's some other activities that you as the library directors can be involved with.
Maybe that would be something the Friends of the Library might be interested in too.
Yeah, and especially the idea of having awards for the county kids, or the readers or the artists or whatever, is kind of helping figure out how we can, do something special for kids kids like that, that would be great. So anyway, that's, I think that'll be fun.
Mhm.
Okay,
Bookmaking.
bookmaking,
There.
and then sharing their.
The kids,
Yeah.
well, that could, maybe they, I don't know if this would work, but it probably would be, they've already started printing, but for all the displays that they have in the 4-H building, that there could be some area where that gets judged as well, and there could be ribbons given out for different age groups of kids making, whether it's pamphlet or whether it's, the
Mhm. I mean, yeah, something creative like that.
When you said bookmaking,
Oh,
Well,
bookmaking,
yeah,
yeah.
bookmaking.
No, but that's really good. And in April, in a few weeks, the actual categories come out from the state about all the categories that officially could do that, like the publishing or, whatever, they haven't come out yet. And then also anything else like that, you all could just make up and it could be done separate from ribbons, but
Mhm.
we could have our own library ribbons or awards or
Mhm.
something like that.
so shall I put in the minutes that the board is in favor of proceeding with this? Or we can make a motion, I suppose.
Sorry,
And
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I put in the minutes that the board is in favor of proceeding with this, or
sure,
we could,
sure, why not?
if that's the sense of the
And
board.
also that everybody volunteers time at the county fair. That's what I'd really like you to.
Did we have a vote on that?
Would somebody want to make a motion?
I would make a
Not,
motion.
not that you have to work in the booth.
I'm not too sure about that. I would like to make a motion that the board move forward to try to, to take advice from Jackie after they have their directors meeting, to get something together to showplace the library at the county fair.
I'll second that.
We have a second on that. Is there any other discussion about supporting Jackie and the library directors in moving forward on the county fair initiatives? Not all, do you want a voice vote?
Roll call would be
Roll
nice.
call, sorry. Roll call, John,
No,
Wendy,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, motion carries, 1 no. Okay, thank you. Meeting is adjourned. 7:21.